class. Today I'll be reading you I Love You, Daddy. By just looking at this cover, how do you think Little Bear feels about his daddy? Why? Let's find out. So this is one of my favorite books. It's called I Love You, Daddy. It was written by Jillian Harker, and it was illustrated by Kristina Stephenson. And we actually have two surprise guests today. We have Little Bear and Big Bear, Daddy Bear. Okay. You're getting tall, Little Bear, said Daddy Bear. Big enough to come climbing with me. Little Bear's eyes opened wide in surprise. Do you really mean that? Daddy Bear nodded. He led Little Bear to a giant tree. So we have Daddy Bear and we have Little Bear, and they're sitting under the big tree. Little Bear tried to scramble up to the lowest branch. He tumbled backwards. See him tumbling? Daddy Bear nudged Little Bear. Daddy Bear tugged Little Bear. You can do it, he whispered. How does Daddy Bear help Little Bear? And suddenly, Little Bear found that he could. I love Daddy, thought Little Bear. Daddy Bear, smiling at Little Bear. You're getting brave, Little Bear, said Daddy Bear. Daring enough to gather honey with me. Little Bear gasped. Could I really? Daddy Bear winked. He led Little Bear to another tree and pointed to a hole in the trunk. So right now, we're actually inside that tree. And this is the big hole in the trunk that Daddy was talking about. What do you think will happen next to Little Bear? Let's see. Little Bear reached out his paw. A furious buzzing filled his ears. Bzzz. Little Bear pulled his paw back. Just be quick, Daddy Bear said. You have thick fur. The bees can't hurt you. You can do it, he smiled. Why does Daddy Bear say the bees cannot hurt Little Bear? And suddenly, Little Bear found that he could. I love Daddy, thought Little Bear. You're getting smart, Little Bear. Smart enough to find a good winter den. Little Bear grinned. Do you really think so? I know so, said Daddy Bear. Little Bear set off. Not too far from food, said Daddy Bear. Ready for when spring comes. Little Bear sniffed the wind. See him? He has his nose up in the air. He's sniffing the wind. Look for high ground, said Daddy Bear, to keep us dry. Little Bear padded up over the rocks. Somewhere safe and warm, said Daddy Bear, away from danger. Here, called Little Bear, as he disappeared into a deep cave. See Little Bear's walking into the deep cave. Daddy Bear's right behind him. Daddy Bear followed. He looked all around. Perfect, he said. I love Daddy, thought Little Bear. Why does Daddy Bear help Little Bear? I'm sorry, how does Daddy Bear help Little Bear? Did I climb well? Little Bear asked on the way home. You did, replied Daddy Bear. Was I brave? Asked Little Bear. You were, answered Daddy Bear. Did I find a good dad? Asked Little Bear. The very best, smiled Daddy Bear. I'm proud of you, Little Bear. And they're walking back home, and they're walking on the rocks. Little Bear's feeling good about himself right now. Soon, Little Bear and Daddy Bear reached home. And suddenly, Little Bear felt very tired. But there was something he wanted to say. I love you too, began Little Bear, but he didn't finish. Why do you think Little Bear didn't finish saying, I love you, Daddy? Daddy Bear stroked Little Bear's head. I love you too, he said. Finally, what are some things you like to do with your daddy? Now it's a little late for Little Bear, so we're going to put Little Bear to sleep. But I hope you enjoyed the story. Again, it was called I Love You, Daddy by Jillian Harker. One of my favorite stories. I hope you enjoyed it.